Chapter 2. The Offer She Can't Refuse. The landing was going to be tricky and dangerous, thought Punky Pugilist, struggling to keep the dirigible under control as rain pelting the windscreen made visibility uncertain. Ice was building up on both the flight surfaces and on the upper skin. The wind howled, and bright flashes of lightning, the nemesis of all airship captains, rattled the cabin. "I should have made some sandwiches and tea while I had a chance," mumbled Punky under her breath. "Perhaps turkey and cheese, or ham and cucumber." A flash of brilliant light illuminated the cabin, the instruments sharply outlined in harsh luminescence and sharp edges of black shadow. The ship shuddered. Punky flinched. That was close, she thought. Thank gods I have a hydrogen-filled blimp which provides extra lift rather than the more expensive and weaker helium. A small yellow light suddenly glowed red and began flashing, drawing her attention from food and tea back to the stark, terrible reality and responsibility and danger of her mission. The red light went out, followed by a distant click and thud as a slice of rye toast flew from the toaster into the air and next to the cabin's chair. With the fast-trained reflexes of an experienced pilot, Punky grabbed the toast in midair and, bringing it to her mouth, she took a tiny bite. "There, that will settle my tummy a bit," she uttered to herself. Why did I ever agree with this really stupid and futile gesture, she wondered. But in her heart, she knew that she was committed, regardless of the glorious fame of success or the iniquity of failure, followed by a trial, conviction, and sentencing to the ultimate penalty, or perhaps only death. Checking the instruments, noting the falling airspeed as the howling gale increased in fury, Punky thought back to last week and that faithful meeting with the chair. The me phone had begun ringing before dawn, and Punky ignored its bleating and whining as long as she could, but it was becoming angrier and angrier, as me phones will do when ignored. She had been dreaming of chasing bunnies and peeps in the cloudy paradise known as Daggy's Heaven. The squirrel in the energy cage of the me phone must be getting tired and will need feeding if I don't answer, she thought. Wiping the sleep from her eyes, she fumbled for the me phone which lay in its tiny white cradle next to her bed. "Hello," said Punky. An authoritative voice on the other end of the line said, "Is this Punky? Punky Pugilist, the blimp captain?" "Yep," she responded. "You found me." "Please hold on. The chair wishes to speak to you." There followed a long pause in which Punky's mind raced like the tiny squirrel in the energy cage. The chair. Why would he call me? What have I done? Perhaps it's that little mishap last week. Or no. It must be the lost luggage of Governor Lyndon. A new voice was heard on the line. It was a voice familiar to Punky from radio and YouTube videos. The chair spoke. "Hello, Captain Punky. I'd like you to come to my office. I have a dangerous and important mission I would like you to volunteer for." Punky drew a deep breath. A dangerous mission, she thought. That could only mean one thing, and that one thing was luggage retrieval. "I want you to be here by 8, said the chair. The chair then hung up, not waiting for any reply or objection. "I'm in deep doo-doo now," mumbled Punky, as she brushed Fluffy, the kitty litter-encrusted cat avatar, from the foot of her bed and headed to the shower. Punky was going to be late. The morning commute traffic had backed up at the Tiki House turnoff, and an overturned wagon full of overripe melons had made a mess of the byway. A shiny new orange crate buggy in flat back with 3 wheels had been tailgating her for the last kilometer, and she was really irritated. You'd think the Department of Paths and Easements would have solved this traffic problem last year when they dug up the road for the installation of faster ether, she thought. Her red Schwann bicycle skidded dangerously in the melon sludge, and she fought to keep control and not land in the void-filled ditches which lined the edge of the path. Regaining control of the Schwann, she paused to take a deep breath. That was close, she thought. Glancing into her mirror, she noticed that the orange crate buggy was still too close for comfort. 2 dark-suited and very buff avatars with impenetrable dark granny glasses stared at her from the buggy. Someone's security, she thought. Someone important given the cost of three-wheeled orange crates these days. Finally, the traffic began to move, and she pedaled furiously in a vain attempt to make up for lost time. The orange crate followed. "This is going to be a bad day," she muttered as she glanced down toward the melon-spattered Manolos. Punky parked the Schwann and headed to the Blimp cartel offices. Racing up the stairs, Punky glanced at the Blimp cartel clock tower. The ancient clock read 8:09. She was late, very late, and the chair was infamous for insisting on punctuality. Take the stairs or the elevator, she wondered. The penthouse was a difficult climb, but the line at the elevator looked even more difficult. Pausing briefly, she flashed her purple security pass to the security attendant and was buzzed through into the lobby. "The stairs," sighed Punky, and dashed for the little door beside the elevator and the line of bleary-eyed office workers clutching their cappuccinos and oat bran muffins with peach or mango cream filling. Punky was a counter. It was annoying, she thought. Some called it obsessive-compulsive, but whatever you called it, she always counted stairs. It could not be helped. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Then a landing followed by a fast 180-degree turn and another 10 steps. 21 steps in all, 14 floors, 294 steps in all, her obsessive mind calculated. She reached 294, gasping for breath, but the number on the exit door read 13, one more floor to go. "Wow, I'm really out of breath," Punky thought. "I really need to stop smoking those Testosa Grandes in the Blimp." Finally, a door marked 14, and the words "Penthouse" came into view. She paused to catch her breath when the door swung open and two purple uniformed guards motioned her into the penthouse lobby. The lobby was made from a long, extinct oak forest, deep and narrow, with a stained glass window portraying A.D. Conyngham, the honored founder of the Blimp service, at one end, and a small, ancient desk aligned before a large smoked glass door bearing a gold leaf lettering saying "Chairman." Punky reached for her security pass, but the shorter of the two security guards said, "That's not needed, Captain Pugilist. We're very familiar with your exploits." What the heck did they mean by that, she wondered. Had losing the governor's luggage become so famous that everyone in the Blimp cartel knew her name? From behind the desk, a small figure of a weazened old man, bald with little brown speckles covering his face, glanced up at Punky from a small pile of official-looking documents littering the desk and a bright little polished bronze sign that read "Funstus Tallow, assistant to the chair." "You're late, Miss Pugilist," intoned Tallow. Miss Pugilist, thought Punky, not Captain Pugilist, or the more familiar "Hey, you." Not a good start to what was become the second most important meeting in Punky's as yet short life. The first having been talking Professor Landfair into giving her a passing grade in the economics of erudition at the University of Songono. "The chair will see you now, Miss Pugilist," said Tallow, motioning towards the door. Punky recognized the voice, the same basso fundus voice that had awakened her from dreams of cavorting with bunnies in Daggy's heaven.